Earlier this year, I visited India for the first time, which was really special to me because I'm half Indian and I'd never been before. This is the second in a series of videos where I show you what I got up to and some tips and tricks for when you're visiting India. The first stop on our tour of the Golden Triangle was Jaipur, which was a huge change from the relative peacefulness of Jaisalmer. This is the India you imagine, the India you see. It's hectic and colourful and loud and vibrant and very in your face in a wonderful way. So the first thing that we did when we got to Jaipur was visit the Amer or Amber, if you'll read some things, fort. It was magnificent. It was absolutely huge. I mean, I know I say everything was magnificent, but it honestly was. Like, you should visit India, everything is magnificent. Yeah, it was absolutely massive, really well preserved. And it was so interesting because it was like 3 or 4 different palaces in one. There were these gorgeous external paintings, then there were lots of pavilions. There was a whole courtyard area where you would go up one set of stairs and emerge into one rooftop and then go left and you'd emerge into a different rooftop and then a different rooftop and then a different rooftop. It was like being in a film, like literally every corner you'd find a new secret place just for yourself. This was the famous Mirror Palace. It's super beautiful. You can't actually go inside and there were a lot of people, so you kind of had to queue to get a look. But when you finally got there, it was just stunning. The details, I mean, if I had to describe India, I would say India is a land of detail, and it's no less exemplared here. Here are some shots of some monkeys chilling out. They were everywhere. This was really cool. It was like in like a Little Princess or something where you could see the monkeys running along the ramparts. place you'll see mentioned a lot in Rajasthan is Anoki, which does hand-printed Indian textiles, and there's a museum just round the corner from the fort where you can see how they make the stamps for the textiles. So we got to see a demonstration of that, which was absolutely fantastic. And then at the end he gave us like a little stamp from what he was making, this lovely, lovely man. He stayed silent the whole time, but it was a real privilege to see a kind of master craftsman at work. And then the other thing that you can do if you visit the museum is you can have a go at making your own handkerchief. So here is some footage of me attempting to do that. It really hurts your hand hitting it that hard. You have to hit really hard to make the stamp work. Mahal hotel, I think it was, not a homestay. It had these gorgeous murals, and it was a little bit of a splurge because we wanted to rest up after racing around Rajasthan. Walk in the Lonely Planet that takes you around the markets of Jaipur, so we headed out super early to make sure we could fit it in. But then it turns out that the markets don't actually really open until around like 10:30, and we'd got there at 9, so it wasn't as colourful as I think it could potentially be, but it was still a load of fun talking to the shopkeepers, and I got a great pair of shoes. We decided not to go into the Hawa Mahal, the really famous beautiful pink building, because you can see it really well from the street, and we were on a bit of a budget, both time-wise and money-wise. So instead we headed on to the city palace, which was very palatial, as you'll see in a moment. These pigeon dudes just do not care that they are chilling on chandeliers inside a royal palace. One of my favourite parts of the trip was this gorgeous courtyard, which had doors which were surrounded by depictions of each of the 4 seasons. I know I say this all the time, but the colours were so beautiful. They're remarkably well preserved. I know there's some paint sort of decay, as you can see there, but the colours are so well preserved, and the detail, the gorgeous intricacy of the carvings on the golden doors, and all the stucco was just out of this mind, beautiful, out of this mind, out of this world, blew my mind, all of the things. Yeah, highly recommend you to go and have a look if you are in Jaipur. It's well worth the entry fee for the city palace. Something I knew I wanted to see before we even got here was the Jantar Mantar Observatory, the cost of which is included in your palace entry, so there's no reason why you shouldn't go and see it. It's so cool. It's this ancient observatory for tracking the stars and the star signs and astrology and the sun and the time, and it's like this series of, they look like abstract kind of sculptures, but actually they're all scientific instruments, and it was built, I am not sure when, many years ago. I'll insert that here. And it's just fantastic. The locations here, the kind of observatory statuesque things here were featured in my favourite film of all time, The Fall, which is also well worth watching. So it was like doubly interesting to see where that had been filmed and find out the history of this amazing place.
How many degrees? 55. This is 50, 45 and 40.
Yeah.
Hindi. 41, 42 degree altitude of the sun from the horizon. Maximum is 90, but 90 is not possible because Jaipur is not equator.
Yes.
We took a mid-afternoon train this time to Agra. We got there super late at night, so I didn't see much of Agra itself because we were up early the next day for the Taj Mahal. I definitely recommend getting there early because the queues are shorter, and actually there are a lot fewer people than I thought there would be. It's also worth knowing that your taxi driver will drop you up at a bus stop and then you get a communal bus to the Taj Mahal itself. Goes without saying really, you have to see the Taj Mahal, it's stunning. Stopped off at Fatehpur Sikri on the way to Delhi, just a quick stopover. It was really interesting to see. Yeah, it's a really beautiful ancient fort with some gorgeous views of the surrounding landscape. Because there had been a lot of news about pollution and air kind of quality, and my mother has quite bad asthma, we only had a day in Delhi. We immediately went to the famous Red Fort, which unfortunately most of it was being reconstructed, restored, that's what I'm looking for. So I couldn't see very much, but what I could see was really beautiful. Hopefully if you go you'll be able to see a lot more detail, but yeah, it's definitely worth a visit just to see and have a look around. I have no idea what these tiny little animals are. Honestly, cannot tell. Please let me know in the comments if you know. So my mum wanted to buy some curtain fabric, and we ended up walking around the, like, quote unquote real markets of Delhi, the less touristy ones, the ones that actual Indian people go to buy their stuff at, and this was one of the most memorable bits of the trip. It was vibrant and colourful and crowded and hot and loud in like the most perfect way. We got a little bit lost thanks to maps.me. We were able to find our way back again, but yeah, I highly recommend visiting. If we had more time, I would have savoured my time there and probably bought a lot more. So that's it for part 2 of my trip around India. Stay tuned next for tigers in Bandhavgarh and a houseboat trip in Kerala. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Check out some of my other vlogs and let me know what you'd like to see next.